I would love to have the whole 590 with some contingency money, but I don't know if you were here previously, but we brought this item forward 4 times to get where we are. Right. Yeah.
There was a goal.
It's been a challenge.
There was a goal to have it paid for out of a grant from the county using ARPA money, and the committee that oversaw it told us essentially that that money was there to be paid to go towards park improvements and some things like that, and that something like this needed to be paid for out of the general fund, even though that money's specifically there to go towards first responders.
So do y'all have the ability in y'all's construction bond to give him the full amount?
Yeah, I mean, we've got, you said how much, 1.9
million.
2.9.
Well, I know that's what your total is, but I didn't know, like, out of the 2.9, what you budgeted thus far.
I budgeted 1.9, but the council wants to spend the majority of it on the street. This is only a little portion of that.
I think as has been said, I mean, we can do it piece by piece, and that's what Brent just pointed out. We can do it piece by piece, and then in a year or two, we're going to be faced with, are we going to have that taken care of, because it's not working, and we're being told right now it's not working. So the money's there in the construction bond. I think we might as well consider doing.
Well, I think we need to look at getting the exhaust fan fixed, regardless.
Yeah.
If we did what he wants versus, I work in an engine room, you gotta have the exhaust fan.
Yeah.
And that's all I got, the exhaust fan, so. We'll have to look at that down the road, but if this 190 gets us, that keeps everybody going, and we'll go with that. I make a motion to approve $190,000 for fire station renovations.
Is that going to include the, what you guys are needing?
The 190 would not. That would be, you said 291, right?
It would take all of it, yeah. The difference is 300 to 591, so it would take 291 to do everything. As it is right now, the direct capture diesel system and the heaters are out. Those were 2 huge ticket items we had to pull off the top.
Would you be interested in putting those in? I don't know. The only question I get what you're saying coming back, but I don't know that there's a workable time to come back. It seems like this is basically going to kick the project off, and we need to do it now or not do it. And if we don't do it, we're still going to wind up having to do it at some point 2 or 3 years. These fire departments get more expensive every year, so.
You have some first-hand experience with that, I believe.
Yeah.
I think the exhaust needs to be fixed.
No, the exhaust, it's gotta be fixed one way or the other, whether you do what you want.
The same thing with, I compare it with the tobacco, it was 10,000 to fix it, or 165,000 to buy a new one.
Do y'all, no pun intended, have y'all exhausted all options? I really didn't want to say that, but have you looked at all, I mean, I take it you have. Do you feel like there's anybody else you can call, contact, to come out and see if there's a way to fix what you've got now?
How old is it to begin with? It's been there since
The
the building.
existing system,
Yeah.
over 40 years old.
Okay.
So they got 2 bits, and it's not main,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to step in, but.
It's not direct capture, it's just catching air up at the ceiling level and pulling it outside, so it's turning over the air in the room. But the system that we spec is hooked to the truck, and from the moment you start the truck, the diesel's going outside, it's not going in the room. The other problem is all of our bunker gear is stored in that same room
Right.
because we have no other place to put it. So it's all exposed to the diesel exhaust, which is just adding carcinogens to the gear every time we start the trucks.
What would it cost just to add the exhaust system to it?
I believe it was $59,000 or $60,000, somewhere in there.
So leaving, adding that.
Leaving that. You can't fix it, you gotta have that exhaust, it's gotta be evacuated, one way or the other.
Leaving the heaters out, but adding the exhaust.
Yeah, we always put it.
So then we'd be roughly at 250, and I think we'd be close at that.
That's my motion to 250.
250, and clarifying that the only thing that's left out of that entire is the heater. Yes.
I'd like to put in, they have direct fill lines that are up in that bay that's water up in there that they direct fill the trucks with and all that. So I'd just like to add that as we're considering about those heaters, and the heaters can't capture you know, keep it warm in that area, so you got the possibility of freezing out in that bay scenario also.
Didn't freeze last time.
Didn't have no water in the pipe.
I think what heaters is in there would keep it warm enough to stop the pipes.
Fire over here.
A second.
Do we have, so we've got a motion and a second to approve the amount, adding the 190, but then adding the additional approximately 60,000 to get the exhaust taken care of or replaced, and only leaving out the heater for now. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. There you go. You got the magic touch. You got more than you even asked for to start with. Well, and ultimately, I've said it before, but I'm getting that Herman Earwood disease where I keep repeating myself over and over, so I'll say it again. The best thing this council's done since I've been on it is add a full-time fire department, so if things like this, I know, you know, it's expensive, but it's the cost of doing business, so we've got a full-time department that's over there 24 hours a day. We've got Fort Worth backing us up if we're off on a call, so it's what happens, so thank you to all of you. All right, move
Thank you all for being here tonight.
Yep. We'll move to item number 15, which is discussion and/or action regarding City Hall administration and Public Works employee recruitment and retainage efforts involving compressed work schedule, salary studies, one-time inflation, retainage agreement, incentive, and on-call pay.
Mayor and Council, this is be a two-part presentation. City Manager Marvin Gregory asked me to present the four-day work week schedule. If you was on June 22nd that we presented the whole package to you, staff presented it. Basically now we're back. City Manager Gregory asked us, pull us all in. We had a big meeting with all departments on how this would impact, whether it's a four-day work week or a 4.5, how would it impact each department. And so what we decided to do is put it all out there, and with that, City Manager Gregory pulled together a consensus, and he asked me to present that tonight, is that basically, from that meeting, we would look at asking you that if we could, on October 1st, do option 2, which is a 4.5 day work week, and during that period, for 90 days, keep collecting data. We presented in your memo the data that we have, and that has different ranges as far as the transactions that were made and the staffing that was here. But we've seen this only like 36 transactions during a whole day on a Friday, since we're tracking that. And, you know, and that is a minimal amount to where we feel that we can accommodate that amount by some of the improvements that we're making. We're doing some online changes in the water department, and then also the extra 30 minutes before and the extra 30 minutes after from Monday through Friday. Starting out in this transition period, we're presenting not to change the garbage service. The garbage service will remain as it is, because that normally works out anyhow, but we can keep that. And then the half day, where Public Works, we are presenting, where the majority of the Public Works staff will go ahead with the 4-day work week, but 2 staff would remain on the 4.5 to cover for the administration, as we're currently doing now during this heat schedule. And those 2 employees will be doing utility turn-ons, different things like that, meters, work orders, and if there's emergency, they'll be the first responder there to that emergency.
And of course, the garbage will be running.
Yes, garbage will be running, so we'll have staff there for that available also.
And I just, not to cut you off, because I think there's a lot of what's in here later on that I am more in favor of, but that just seems like such a kind of a hodgepodge of things of having some people here, some people off. I mean, because it's not just a straight, because like we had talked about before, we can't